What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Now we're going to react to top 10 reasons not to move to Australia. Now, what's the name before? I know Isaac Butterfield has reacted to one of these with a different YouTube channel that had like 13 or so million subscribers. I don't even know. Anyways, let's just move on and yeah, well, hopefully it's not going to be cringe, and I guess we're going to react to it. Go.
G'day, mates. How you going?
We're 2 seconds in, and I'm... What? Please... No. Please do not do that again. Please do not... Oh. Jesus Christ. Please don't try that again.
Today we're talking about the land down under, Australia. Is it a country? Is it a continent? Do kangaroos really just roam freely about? Sounds like fake news to me.
What? Okay, Donald Trump. But no, we do have kangaroos roaming around. It's called nature, and you know, yeah, pack and shit like that. But anyways, it's already 12 seconds in, and my head already hurts. Let's see how many more brain cells we lose.
But it's not. The world's 6th largest country is a giant 3 million square mile island continent stuck between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. And this strange geographic location is what makes Australia such an...
Hey, that's legit like an hour. That's legit 2 hours away from where I live. That's
ecological and biological anomaly with so much diverse nature and wildlife unique only to the country. From Tasmania to the stunning beaches to the outback rainforests and Great Barrier Reef, there is so much natural beauty to be found here. But not only is the nature stunning, Australia is also home to a few highly advanced cosmopolitan cities, with the two biggest cities, Sydney and Melbourne, routine.
Now I gotta applaud you for that. You actually pronounced it right. I know a lot of Americans pronounce it Melbourne. Really? I mean, it is understandable because it is like spelled that, but yeah, it's pronounced Melbourne because of our accent. Alright.
Ranking among the top 5 best cities to live in the world. Speaking of which, let's hit 5,000 likes and I'll do a video on the top 10 best cities to live in the world. Anyways, it isn't hard to see why the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples have lived here for over 60,000 years. Of course, the British also did their imperialist thing and claimed the continent in 1788 as a penal colony for their convicts, but Australia eventually gained independence in 1901. And since then, the land down under has become a country with one of the highest qualities of life, a great healthcare and education system, incredibly low crime, vibrant and welcoming residents, and an excellent economy with hardly any poverty. Nonetheless, only 20...
There is a little bit of poverty around in Australia, but other than that, not really many.
5.5 million people actually live here, and less than 100,000 of those are U.S. expats.
Wait, there must be a reason only 1 to 4,000 new Americans immigrate here each year, right?
Well, maybe you'll find out in my top 10 reasons not to move to Australia. Number 10. It gets hot. Contrary to popular belief, most of Australia isn't all perfect year-round temperatures. Well, unless you're in Sydney or Perth, but even those get some bad days each year. And although a few cities on the southern coast and Tasmania...
Okay. It doesn't always get hot here. That's probably one of the biggest myths. It's always hot. No, we have rain and snow and stuff like that. Tornadoes up in the north. Up in the north, where Queensland and Darwin is-ish. But yeah, is it a tornado? No, it's cyclone. My bad. Who says my bad? It's a big heaven one. But it doesn't always get hot, so no.
Actually get hit by really cold fronts coming up from Antarctica. The real issue in most of Australia is the heat. There is a reason nearly 90% of Australians live within 50 kilometers of the coast. The heat makes the rest of the country basically unlivable, especially in the outback where temperatures can reach 50 degrees Celsius. That's 122 Fahrenheit. Heck, it gets so hot in the desert here that the opal miners back in the day ended up building an underground settlement called Cooper Pedy to protect them from the heat. It's pretty cool, actually. And even though the cooling effects of the ocean make the coastal areas more livable, most of the cities will still get days above 40 to...
What a great view. I know in the UK or England and stuff like that reach like 17 degrees or 34, like on average in summer. It's 17 degrees. Like, that's winter. I know it's different climate and stuff like that, but seriously.
Degrees Celsius during the summer. Add in some of the most beautiful beaches in the world with tons of sunny days to enjoy, and the fact that you're pretty darn close to the equator, and it isn't hard to see why 2/3 of Australians are diagnosed with skin cancer by the age of 70. Oh, and I'd be remiss to not talk...
Yeah, we have a massive rate of skin cancer and things. And also, yeah, different types of cancer, which sucks. But a lot of people actually, including me, forget to put on sunscreen, or they put it on and then they put it on again, but they still get burnt because, our what's it called? Our heat. We have massive heat waves sometimes, and we have like weeks where we go like 40 degrees Celsius to about 20. So, it's massive. Not sure if it's climate change, but yeah, it's something.
Not that other thing the heat and sun cause as well. Bushfires. You've probably already heard about the wildfires that have decimated 46 million acres and killed 451 people this past year alone. But sadly, it's not the first, and it definitely won't be the last.
Now, we do have massive amount of bushfires. There's quite a few of them, probably a couple hundred. Arsonists, like set on fire by random people. Just like, I don't know why you do that, but it also like the lightning strike can also cause bushfires as well in Australia because humidity is unbelievable up north. It is so hot, and in Perth as well. But yeah, it's massive. Here we
Number
go.
9.
Number 9.
It's isolated. You might have wondered why so many Australians have left their beautiful homeland that seems a lot like paradise to most Americans. But the reality is that many Aussies feel trapped, lonely, and isolated from the rest of the world. And while you may think that's silly, since you can just hop on a plane and fly to a nearby country like Indonesia or Singapore, it actually isn't so simple. Most Australians live in the southeastern part of the country, so a flight to anywhere other than New Zealand means crossing the giant continent of Australia and then some, or just the entire Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. I love Australia. I've actually been to LA and America and Mexico and Canada. Awesome. I might actually make a video on that. But it's ridiculous how much we have to travel to get somewhere. We can spend like 15, 16, 17, 24, 26, 8 hours. 8 hours is not that much, but we're basically in the middle of nowhere surrounded by the ocean. But it's still a great place to visit and live.
Basically, even those close countries end up being anywhere from a 6 to 10 hour flight away. It's at least a 14-hour flight if you're going to the US. And you should expect to spend over 24 hours in airplanes and airports if you want to visit anywhere in Europe. And before you comment,
So what if other countries are far away? Australia's huge. Just explore that.
Well, the thing about that is that Australia isn't just isolated from other countries. The cities here are actually really isolated from each other. The land down under is the third least densely populated country in the world, with just 3 people per square kilometer, and it only has 5 real cities with metro populations over 1 million residents.
Yeah. So in Australia, we only have 26 million people. 26.5 to probably be exact. I don't even know. Like, millions of people come each year. If not like a couple hundred million. I don't even know the exact stat. Probably should know. But it does take a while. It takes an hour to get to Tassie, Adelaide, 2 hours to Sydney, 5 hours from Melbourne to Perth. Couple hours, 2 to 3 hours, depending on the plane companies, and yeah, to Queensland, sorry. And then I've never been to Darwin, so I'm not sure how many hours it takes. Also with Alice Springs.
So, as I'm sure you can guess, the population centers are very spread out, and most of Australia is very remote. For example, the 2 closest big cities would be Sydney and Melbourne, but they're still an 8.5-hour drive apart. Melbourne to Brisbane's an 18-hour drive, Adelaide to Darwin's a 31-hour drive, and Sydney to Perth is a 41-hour non-stop trek with pretty much nothing in between. Number 8. Time zones. Speaking of isolation, Australia isn't just physically isolated from other countries. You're also going to have trouble keeping in touch with your family or friends back home unless they live somewhere in Asia. Australia is an entire Pacific Ocean away from the US and 2 continents length away from Europe, so the time zones are practically exact opposites. Now,
yeah, so the time zones are it's ridiculous. 3 hours. When we have daylight savings, Queensland's 1 hour behind. Pretty sure Adelaide is half an hour behind. Sydney and Canberra, ACT, Tasmania are the exact same. So we have the exact same time zone. Perth is 3 hours when it's daylight savings. When it's not, it's 2 hours. So it just depends. I think we have 4 different time zones, if I'm correct, but I'm not sure.
Australia has 3 main time zones, but for the sake of just showing how
3, my bad. I don't know why I say my bad, but anyways, yeah.
different the times are, when it's 7 a.m. in Sydney, it's 10 p.m. in London, and when it's 6 a.m. in Perth, it'd be 6 p.m. in New York. I get that this is just more of an inconvenience than a huge deal, but it can get pretty tedious trying to schedule a call with your international family and friends. Number 7. The internet sucks. If you finally...
Okay. So, we invented the Wi-Fi. It made in Perth. Was it? I'm pretty sure it was, yeah. And America made it better. And it's so slow. NBN was meant to be so fast, and it's not. That's the biggest stitch up. I'm gonna make like 10 reasons why Australia sucks, or like bad, and then 10 positive reasons. So I'm definitely gonna do that. So I'm looking forward to that video.
If you do manage to get a hold of your family and friends, time zones might not be the only thing that get in the way. Because even if you schedule that Zoom call perfectly, the internet might just randomly cut out or start lagging, and by the time it's fixed, it's probably the other person's bedtime. Sure, the United States isn't anywhere near the best when it comes to internet speeds compared to most developed countries, but it's light speed compared to Australia, which is only ranked as the 43rd best country for internet. And no, I don't just mean that on average it has relatively slow download and upload speeds. I mean the most expensive plans still disconnect or lag frequently, and a lot of the plans
I'm doing a video. Shut up. I'm doing a video. I'm doing my video. I'm recording.
plans actually have data caps. Who does that anymore? A 200 gigabyte a month plan in Brisbane with download speeds only up to 12 megabits per second will cost you $65 a month. And don't even think about going over, or you'll have to pay an outrageous fee, and your internet speeds will slow down to 256 kilobytes per second. What developed nation has any internet speeds under 1 megabit per second? That's just ridiculous. Number 6, everything wants to kill you. If the frustratingly slow internet speeds are enough to make you want to go on a digital cleanse and take a camping trip out in the wilderness, well, don't, because literally everything here is trying to kill you. Yeah, Australia's home to box jellyfish, stonefish, tons of poisonous snakes and spiders, blue-ringed octopuses, stingrays, sharks, and the largest saltwater crocodiles in the world. Wait, did you think I was done? No, I'm just getting started. There's kangaroos, dingoes, cassowaries, emu...
Okay, so this is massive. So many people, and including myths and stuff, think, everything's going to kill you. If you are staying in the outback, I would probably not recommend. If you... How can I put this? Without offending anyone. I would love to go to the outback, but if you're a clueless person who's trying to go into the outback to get lost or anything like that, I wouldn't recommend. But, if you are well planned out and you travel to all your destinations and, cassowary. I've never seen a cassowary in my life. And I've been here for 19 years. So, you should be fine. These little bastards or big bastards or whatever you want to call them. If you can run 60 kilometers an hour to get away, go for it. But I would not suggest, pissing off these guys. Are they emus? Actually, are they? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, these are emus. Oh, no, they're not ostriches. But yeah, clueless Aussie. No, but seriously, just be careful with kangaroos. They can be everywhere. Koalas aren't that dangerous, but they'll stuff up your car if you let them in, or if they hop in, then you're screwed there. Sharks, well, there's two flags you have to stay in between. Otherwise, you could be in danger. Sharks are... Now, here's a hot tip for a shark. So just punch it in the nose. I know it might sound stupid, but if you're a surfer, you punch it in the nose and it'll swim away unless you get eaten. So, yeah, look out for that as well. What else? There's platypuses, everything like that.
Use cone shells and drop bears can all pose serious threats. Okay, well, maybe not the drop bears since they don't actually exist, but the...
Well, we've been exposed. Damn it. That was actually, on average, if you say something quite funny with our accent, older people believe us. So, yeah.
The rest of those animals have all taken human lives. Australia just isn't a place where you can spontaneously go for a hike.
Oh, and snakes. Yeah, that's right. Just be careful with snakes as well. Yeah, they're not the best. But if you do see a snake, I've seen plenty of snakes. Legit one tried to grab me. But if you see a snake, just stand still and you'll be fine.
Or swim without being very cautious of your surroundings at all times. Heck, there's a story of a man being snatched out of his boat in a river by a giant crocodile while he was just going fishing with his family.
Poor
Although,
guy.
don't get too worried, because you're actually more likely to die by falling off a horse than from one of the deadly critters here. Just be careful and respect the animals whose homes you're...
Oh, you may find him cute and stuff, but he could be the most deadly animal ever. He has a claw. See, look at that. He's got the claw. He can grab you with it. So just do not trust a cuddly wombat or any cuddly cute animals. You got to be careful. They will kill you.
Visiting. Except for kangaroos. Well, you might think they're so cute and cuddly, they can be vicious,
Wow.
and many Australians actually see them as pests. The only reason the country hasn't declared war on them yet is because the kangaroos outnumber Australians to...
Yep. It's like 50 million kangaroos. I've tried to fight one. I was an idiot, and yeah, I got kicked. Lucky I didn't get actually bashed by it. But anyways, yeah, we're also very embarrassed back in the 1930s. We lost the bloody emus. How did we lose the emus? Those bastards could not die. Anyways.
2-1, and the Aussies don't want a repeat of what happened in the Great Emu War of 1932.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, the emus won. Number 5. Bad drivers. While many Aussies try to blame the kangaroo and their lack of road sense as the reason for so many car accidents.
Okay, have you seen the dash cams that are on my channel? Oh my god, they're so bad. We have a lot of internet. I don't want to blame international people, but we have a lot of international people who drive on the bloody wrong side of the road, or we got criminals. You know, it's ridiculous. Stop. All right. Anyway, back. But yeah, we got a lot of crazy drivers on the road. A lot of anger management people that need to seek help to stop their anger management.
Only 7,992 kangaroo collisions actually occurred in 2019, which was less than 5% of the total automobile accidents in Australia.
Yep.
So maybe the drivers should start taking a little more responsibility. Now, of course, every town, city, state, and country is going to have its fair share of bad drivers, but the drivers in Australia are really some of the worst in the world. And I'm not just saying this as some American trying to diss Australia, because I love Australia.
I've seen. Okay, not as bad as India, China, Mexico, quite a few other countries as well. But I remember when I went to America and we got nearly ran off the road by this bloody cop. Not saying all cops are bad. You know, they have good cops and bad cops in every country. I'm not blaming them. But seriously though, the Americans have guns, and I'm actually amazed not many of people have been killed on the roads with a gun. So yeah, I don't even know.
And even people from Australia will admit that the drivers here are terrible. In fact, Aussies actually upload more videos of illegal and bad road behavior than any other country.
Now, it is actually quite fun watching idiots on the road, especially in any country. I reckon Russians are probably the worst drivers. Like, they've got no chill. And they've run by what's his name? Putin? I don't even know. He's a psychopath. But, allegedly. So I don't get sued by this Russian government. Anyways, it's interesting.
Number 4. It's expensive. Aside from the aforementioned incredibly expensive internet, pretty much everything else here is expensive too. Because while Australia is big, it's still an isolated island, so a lot of things have to be shipped over long distances to get here. Of course, the cost of living varies based on location, with it generally being cheaper the farther you get from the coast and major cities, but Australia as a whole is pretty pricey. Granted, it is balanced out by the decent job pay, since Australia actually has the highest after-tax minimum wage of any country, and a top 10 average income at around 64,000 US dollars per.
Oop. Alright. So the reason why I don't know why it's so expensive, but it is. Petrol's goddamn expensive. Sometimes it's like $1.61 or $1.82 or like it just depends on the day or price or whatever they do. But it isn't too bad. It is quite expensive, but not as bad as I know in America. The average that someone makes is $40,000. Now, when you think about it with bills, petrol, car insurance, and everything like that, you don't really have that much. Like, yes, there is billionaires, in America. There's a lot of them, and NBA, like, and major sporting leagues that earn millions of dollars, if not billions. Australia, we average $82,000 that we make per year. Now, and we don't have tips. There are tips that are, necessary. Not necessary, but some people do have to get tips, but it's not compulsory, unlike America, which is interesting.
Person per year. Then again, this also just creates an expensive cycle since the high minimum wage means high production costs, which means it's cheaper to import goods, but imported goods are expensive, and, well, that's just economics. And even though most of the wages are livable, they're not necessarily enough to buy a home, especially in Sydney or Melbourne, where the median home values are 1.15 million and 855,000 Australian dollars respectively. That's nearly 820,000 US dollars for your average home in Sydney. Number 3, places close early. To add on to the fact that things are expensive here, it might be difficult to even buy said things if you're working normal hours, since most shops, stores, and restaurants
Now, this is what pisses me off. A lot of things close early. Like, come on. You could not open up for another couple hours. I do get that some people, are working full time and want that time off, close early and go clubbing or partying or drinking or just relaxing. But it'd be nice if things opened up. We got rain. Who said we've got rain coming down now, or showers? But it does rain in Australia. Believe it or not.
usually close by the time the sun sets during the week. And if they operate at all on the weekends, they're probably going to have even more limited hours. This one isn't a huge deal once you're used to it and plan accordingly, but it can be a big culture shock if you're coming from the States where there's an abundance of 24-hour businesses. Now, to be fair, a few places do actually stay open later if you're in a big city like Sydney, Brisbane, or Melbourne, but it's hard to buy things past 5 or 6 p.m. pretty much anywhere else. Number 2.
He's spot on with that.
Poor mental health services. Despite their vivacious exterior, Australians usually keep their feelings to themselves. It's just not normal to talk about personal problems here.
Okay, I've definitely experienced this one, so I know how it feels. A lot of men at a, fuck. What am I going to say? I'm going to yeah, 3, 2, 1. A lot of men have been told at a very young age it's not okay to talk about your feelings, or it's, you got to man up and things like that. But, and it goes past generations. So, which sucks, because you should talk about your feelings. And, it doesn't matter if you're male, female, or whatever you are. Apparently there's 50-something genders, apparently. I don't even really know. That's just bullshit if you ask me. But, yeah, older people don't like to talk about their feelings, which is, which is not great. 8 Australians, 6 men, and 2 on average. Sorry, 2 women on average suicide each day, or like there's like 30 something attempts a day. Could be a lot more than that, which is ridiculous. Like, I get if people are having a hard time, but yeah, it definitely does suck. And we do need to think more of our mental health. And we need to spend way more instead of pointless stuff. Like, I don't. Yes, it is expensive to import stuff from regional or like big cities in Australia. We should do that. Support local businesses and big brands in Australia instead of importing like from China and yeah, things like that. So yeah.
And the mental health of the nation is suffering for it. Now,
Yeah.
there are free care options available for at-risk individuals, but since there's a shortage of psychologists, it's left many other people with no one to talk to about their problems unless they pay a lot of money out of pocket. And even then, many doctors and citizens as a whole aren't well educated in the case of mental health here, so good therapy isn't easy to find. 1 in 5 Australians between the ages of 16 and 85 have experienced mental health illness, and over 20% of young Australians struggle with depression or anxiety. Maybe the mental health issues here actually contribute to that risk-taking, fearless reputation most Australians have earned themselves, since it's kind of the culture here to just suck up your problems and pretend you're always having a good time. Now, before we get to number ado, number 1. The immigration process is very difficult. While visiting Australia is as easy as having a valid passport, filling in an online application, and
Now, probably the reason why it does take on a long time, it's also with like, probably exact same, probably not exact same, but it's pretty much the same with owning a gun. So it does take a lot of processing, and you gotta make sure you're not a terrorist or anything like that. But the reason why it does take so long is because there's a lot of people with criminal records that want to move overseas and then maybe come here. We've had quite a few terrorist attacks over the past few years. People plotting and trying to kill people, and it also, I don't know. I'm not gonna get involved with that sort of stuff. But anyways, it does take a long time to process things, which is a good thing, I reckon, because Australians, Australian government and everything like that want to make sure Australians are safe. But especially if ScoMo goes overseas for a holiday.
paying a small fee, becoming a permanent resident is incredibly difficult for U.S. citizens. Now, for young Americans eager to explore the world, Australia does offer a program known as the Working Holiday Visa, which allows you to live in the country for a year or two in exchange for paid work. But if you want to move here permanently, there are a lot of requirements, such as a confirmation of funds, a skill set assessment, proficiency in English, a health exam, no criminal record, and being under the age of 45. For the most part, you either have to have a lot of money saved up and plan to start a business in Australia, or offer a highly desired skill that no available Australian worker has. So while it's definitely easier to move here than to certain countries in Europe, it's still very difficult for your average American to immigrate here permanently, and that's probably why only 1,000 to 4,000 Americans do it each year.
Okay, I'm going to quickly, before we wrap this video up. Now, I'm pretty sure there is like I'm pretty sure that the Australian government are trying their best to get even more, English, not English, learning English before you move to Australia. Because especially if you get a job, like, and you don't know English, like, you can speak it, we have 500 and something different languages, which is awesome because we're a multicultural country. But, it's so awkward, especially if you go into a shop and they can barely speak English. Like, no, that's hard. But anyways, I didn't actually lose any brain cells. He did say quite a few good points. I'll give him that. But and you spelt Melbourne. You, you pronounce Melbourne correctly, which is awesome. Anyway, so that's the video. I actually like this video. I hope he does top 10 reasons to move to Australia. I've done top 20 already. So, but anyways, that is the video. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe if you like my content. I do reaction videos, and I'm gonna probably plan to do every day, like, or every couple of days. I don't even know what I'm. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and peace.